Good morning. It is 11 o'clock. It is the first day of March. It's spring. It's spring. March means Mega Dungeon March. It means Mega Powers March. So if you're not familiar with my vlog, it means we'll focus a lot on superhero role-playing games this month, and we're going to build a Mega Dungeon, or at least talk about Mega Dungeons like we do every month. Also, the topic du jour seems to be Ravenloft. It's not going to go away. I said I was going to talk about it again. So Legion of Myth, my friends slash foes slash competition, recently did a video on the announcement of Ravenloft. And the topic of the video was Jessica Price as cultural consultant. And they talked about her toxicity, her bullying, her history, her just general being a horrible person. But they didn't actually address the question of Jessica Price as cultural consultant. So I thought I'd follow up with that with the Jessica Price as cultural consultant. First, as an anthropology major who has a degree amongst other things. I have a couple degrees. When I got my child development degree, I had enough liberal arts degrees that I could get a second degree really quickly, just by taking another few classes. So in addition to my child development degree, I have a degree in cultural anthropology. It took 2 more classes, and I love cultural anthropology. I love anthropology. I love the study of cultures. I love history. I love that geeky shit, soft sciences, as they say. So I believe I have some area of expertise in discussing this. Obviously not a lot. I mean, I'm no, London museum curator or any such means. So take this as a grain of salt. But fortunately, I have access to a dictionary and an encyclopedia. So the definition of cultural consultant is someone who helps you get to know the field, who teaches you about a society or culture, provides a personal cultural portrait of existence or change in the culture. Pretty straightforward. I'm building something about, Egypt, and I want to get it right. So I should probably consult experts on Egypt. Cultural consultants. Somebody with history and anthropology, history, art, whatever, whatever my topic is, I should, if I want to get it right, I'm not talking about politically correct or whatever, I built a square? What? You mean the Egyptians were all pyramids? I should have consulted somebody who knew that they built pyramids and not squares. Or just generally, it doesn't have to do with anything political. It's just like, I want to make this look the way it's supposed to look. If I'm building whatever, okay? I should probably consult people who know what they're talking about. You would do this in any field. If you're a doctor and you need to perform brain surgery, you would probably consult a brain surgeon to help you as opposed to doing it yourself. Right? Mm-hmm. If you're making Pepsi, support me, Pepsi, I will sell out. You probably want to consult somebody who knows about chemicals and blah, blah, blah. Cultural consultant. So let's just forget all the other toxic baggage attached to this human being that is Jessica Price. And let's just look at her as, I am the hiring manager of Wizards of the Coast. I am making a product that is a homage to previous Ravenloft and bringing it into 5th edition. In order to do it right, I want to address the things that I might have gotten wrong. I want to make sure it is culturally appropriate. I want to get everything right. Who do I pick? Do I talk to an anthropologist? I should talk to an anthropologist, but I don't. Do I talk to a historian? No. Do I talk to an art historian? No. Do I talk to somebody who has a general understanding of Gothic horror, a literary major, somebody who has developed and dedicated years to studying the genre of Gothic horror? No. Do I talk to somebody who has an area of expertise in Victorian England, where much of Gothic horror originated from? No. Do I talk to somebody who is an expert on the life and times of Bram Stoker, or Mary Shelley, or Lord Byron, or Sylvia Plath, or all the originators of Gothic poetry and Gothic horror? No. do I perhaps consult the historians and archaeologists and archivists over at Universal about the Universal monster movies, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Werewolf, Creature from the Black Lagoon, the fantasy? Because the Universal horror films are a huge, huge aspect of what went into the creation of Ravenloft. I mean, there's no question Strahd is basically Dracula, or just a take on the Bram Stoker's Dracula / the movie Dracula, Bela Lugosi's Dracula / just taken to, I mean, Strahd's awesome, but he's Dracula. Okay. Do I talk to somebody from the Universal Horror Archives? No. Do I talk to somebody from the UCLA Film Archives? No. Do I talk to some hot gothic girls who are standing on the corner in Seattle where my office is located because they listen to the Smiths and the Cure? No. Do I speak to anybody who worked on the previous product, Ravenloft, and follow up on whatever research they did? No. Do I consult with somebody of Romani descent? Because one of the complaints was how the gypsy-like culture, the Vishanti, was presented in the original Ravenloft. People thought that was racist. How dare you have a fantastical, mythological, not based in anything whatsoever, race of people who wander around who are loosely based upon the Hollywood misconception of what gypsies. Well, if I wanted to get it right, what actually was the history and traditions and the cultures of the gypsy, of the Romani, of the other wandering nomadic cultures that have existed throughout the history of the world, I would probably should consult with somebody who's an expert on that so I get it right. Right? No. Instead, they reached out to Jessica Price, who, despite being a toxic human being, just from her education and where she grew up, is a milquetoast, Midwestern, blonde-haired, white girl with, as far as I can tell from her resume, which I'm looking at right now because you can get these things, has no area of expertise in any of those. She did a little bit of work on a video game, which she took a lot of credit for and got her fired. She did some work for another role-playing game company, and she said a lot of horrible, awful things and got herself fired. She has spoken at conventions about the topic of inclusion and feminism and rights, but she is so toxic that she has made her target audience leave in tears instead of empowering them. So basically her area of expertise is being a bully and a reverse bigot and an idiot. But, okay, let's just forget her toxicity. Just looking at her list of skills and her education, I see nothing here that says I hold a Bachelor of Science in Anthropology, a Master's of a degree in Art History, and I studied filmmaking at, Juilliard or the UCLA film libraries, and have spent countless hours consulting at the Universal Studios film archives. And, I've spoken to the members of the families of Bram Stoker or the estate of Mary Shelley. And I have spent countless hours speaking to members of the Romani culture and the Bedouin culture and even modern day Winnebago nomads, because there's nomadic cultures who exist now in the United States, or migrant workers, or anybody who could give me an insight into that idea. No, none of that. Is she a psychologist? They could talk to us about the effects of horror and terror and how to deal with personal trauma in using a role-playing game as a tool, and maybe, help with the supposed sensitivity issues of creating a gothic horror role-playing game. No. When it comes to her education in regards to this area, she's not an appropriate choice. So I can, on a personal level, have an issue with the horrible things this woman has said in the past. But maybe she's changed. I don't know. I've never met her. I probably never will. And I'm on the target audience that she's going to say awful things about me, whatever. So whatever. I don't know Jessica Price as a person. But I do know Jessica Price now as an educator, as somebody who is claiming to be a consultant on the cultures that are involved in the creation of the Ravenloft product. So here is my problem, not with her as a toxic human being. I don't care what she thinks. What I care about is that she is claiming she is a cultural consultant. Wizards of the Coast is holding her up as, look, we use Jessica Price to consult on the cultures of this make-believe world Ravenloft to make sure we got everything right. We are saying she is an expert in all these fields, or even one of the fields. Any one of the countless fields that you could have gone up to and asked questions about to make sure you got Ravenloft right. Let's not forget that Ravenloft is all make-believe, so really, what do you need a cultural consultant for? Anyways, it doesn't exist. But if you wanted to base it on reality, like Hey the Hammer films, the Universal horror films, gothic horror, gothic romance, gothic poetry, even hot goth chicks, or hot goth men, depending upon your preference, then you should speak to somebody who actually holds an area of expertise in that. But they didn't. This woman is saying, I am the expert on the fields that are being addressed in this product, Ravenloft. But she's not. I am right here. Here's her. No, there's nothing on here that, not even I took one class in anthropology when I was in high school. Nothing. So that's my problem. Not that she's a toxic human being, because yes, she's a toxic human being, but I'm never going to meet her, and that doesn't have an effect on my choice. My choice is, are you the person best suited to research this product and be the poster girl for Ravenloft, so say it is culturally appropriate and we have actually researched all the cultures that we are copying and emulating in this product? And the answer is no, she's not. So that's my issue, amongst the fact that she's a horrible human being and said she was glad Total Biscuit was dead, who I've spoken to before he passed away. He was a wonderful guy, so why would you say that about anybody? Pepsi, support me. Anyways, I could go on and on and on. But basically, I'm more qualified to talk on the cultures of gothic horror than this woman is, because I actually have a degree in anthropology. And if Wizards of the Coast came to me and said, we want you to be the consultant for Ravenloft because we heard you had a degree on anthropology, I'd say, why me? Why don't you go to the London Museum of Art and speak to the people who have dedicated their lives to studying Gothic art, studying the Gothic poetry, studying the Gothic movement, studying, the Bauhaus movement, studying Sylvia Plath, studying Bram Stoker, studying Mary Shelley, studying Lord Byron, the poets, the artists, everything that makes up all the things that we consider parts of Gothic horror. Talk to them. Don't talk to me, and certainly not this woman. How is she an expert? Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she secretly is the world's leading expert in all those fields, and I just don't know, and it doesn't say it on her resume. Comment down below. Let me know. But my idea is, for that role, based upon the description of the role, she is not an appropriate choice. So that's one of my many problems with Ravenloft. And I'm sure I'll go into this more, so just warning you now, trigger warning, not safe for work, PG-13. If you appreciate this content, comment down below. If you don't appreciate this content, let me know why, because I can't fix it if you don't tell me what's broken. If you haven't subscribed yet, help me subscribe. And hit 500 subs by August 4th, and we'll do something crazy. Support me, anyone. I need money, and I will sell out. And I'll talk to you crazy kids later. Now go outside. It's a beautiful day, and get off my lawn.